There may be something sitting quietly in your wallet right now that is working against you, and you might not even realize it. It is not something outside of you, not something far away, but something inside the very item you carry with you every single day. Most people will go through their entire lives without ever thinking about it. They wake up early, work hard, stay late at their jobs, and try their best to follow the path they were taught to follow. They do everything they believe is right. They plan for the future. They try to save money when they can. They hope that with enough effort, stability will eventually come. Yet somehow money still seems to slip through their fingers like water. It never stays long enough to create a real sense of security. If this feeling sounds familiar to you, you are not alone. Millions of people around the world experience the same pattern. They work hard, they make sacrifices, and yet progress always seems just out of reach. Each time they manage to save a little, something unexpected happens. A repair appears, a bill arrives, a sudden expense comes out of nowhere. What many people do not realize is that sometimes the smallest habits quietly shape the way we experience money and stability. The idea you are about to read about comes from a piece of wisdom that has been quietly passed down through families and traditions for generations. It may seem simple on the surface, but behind it is a deeper understanding of how people relate to order, money, and the flow of provision in their lives. Think for a moment about someone you know. Maybe it is you, or maybe it is someone close to your heart. This person wakes up every morning, goes to work, and tries to do the right thing. They pay their bills when they can. They treat others with kindness. They are not reckless or irresponsible. And yet, despite all of this effort, they cannot seem to move forward financially. Every time they manage to save a little bit of money, something happens that pushes them backward again. Over time, this becomes exhausting. It begins to wear on their confidence. They start to question themselves. They may wonder if they are doing something wrong. But sometimes the reason has nothing to do with laziness or lack of discipline. Sometimes it comes down to something much smaller and much more subtle than people expect. In many traditions around the world, there is an understanding that the objects we keep close to us are not completely neutral. The items we carry every day often reflect our thoughts, emotions, and beliefs about life. Your wallet may seem like nothing more than a small pouch designed to hold cash and cards, but symbolically, it represents much more than that. It represents your relationship with livelihood and resources. It is the container that holds access to your financial life. When that container becomes cluttered, chaotic, or filled with reminders of stress and scarcity, it can subtly influence how you think about money. One of the most common items people keep in their wallets without even thinking about it is old receipts. Many individuals carry them around for weeks, sometimes even months. They remain folded between cards or stuffed behind cash long after the purchase itself has been forgotten. At first, this may seem completely harmless. After all, a receipt is just a small piece of paper showing that a transaction happened. It does not look important enough to affect anything in a meaningful way. But when a wallet begins to fill with these small papers, something interesting happens. The wallet slowly transforms from a space meant to hold resources into a space filled with reminders of money that has already been spent. Each receipt represents a completed transaction. It represents money leaving rather than money arriving. When these papers accumulate, they quietly turn the wallet into a container for the past. Across many philosophies and spiritual traditions, there is a simple idea that appears again and again. New things cannot easily enter a space that is already full. This idea exists in psychology, spirituality, and even everyday organization. When something becomes crowded with old items, there is no room left for something new to arrive. The same principle can be applied to your wallet. If it is constantly filled with crumpled receipts from purchases that already happened, the symbolic message becomes one of depletion rather than possibility. Instead of representing opportunity, it begins to represent spending and loss. There is also an emotional layer to this habit that many people do not notice. Often people keep receipts because they feel anxious about money. They hold on to them in case they need proof of a purchase or want to track their spending carefully. On the surface, that may seem responsible. But over time, those small papers become connected to feelings of worry or scarcity. Each time you open your wallet, you see reminders of transactions, spending, and financial tension. Clearing those receipts out regularly does something surprisingly powerful. It creates both physical and psychological space. The wallet once again becomes a place prepared for what is coming next, rather than a record of what has already left. Another item many people carry in their wallets is a photograph of someone they love who has passed away. These photographs are usually kept with sincere love and good intentions. A person may want to feel that their loved one is always close to them. It can bring comfort during difficult moments. But there is a subtle difference between honoring memories and carrying symbols of loss everywhere you go. A wallet is an object that represents daily activity and movement through life. It is connected to providing for yourself and for others. When the wallet becomes a place for reminders of grief or endings, it can shift the emotional tone associated with money in ways we do not consciously notice. Memories of loved ones deserve a place of warmth and respect. A framed photograph in a home, a special album, or a quiet place for reflection can hold those memories beautifully. But the wallet serves a different purpose. It represents the present moment and the ongoing flow of life. When the symbols inside it reflect growth, movement, and opportunity, they support a healthier relationship with money and daily responsibility. Another surprisingly common habit is carrying unpaid bills or written reminders of debts inside the wallet. People often do this with good intentions. Why? They believe that keeping the bill nearby will remind them to pay it. However, over time, this practice can create a constant sense of pressure. Imagine opening your wallet several times throughout the day and the first thing you see is a reminder that something is owed, a bill, a notice, a debt. Even if the amount is small, that visual reminder triggers a feeling of stress each time it appears. Instead of feeling like a container for resources, the wallet starts to feel like a folder of obligations. Psychologically, repetition shapes our beliefs. The things we see repeatedly begin to influence how we think. When someone constantly sees reminders of debt each time they open their wallet, their mind begins to associate money with pressure and shortage. Money becomes linked to worry instead of possibility. A much healthier approach is to separate these reminders from the wallet entirely. Bills and financial planning documents belong in a designated space such as a desk, a planner, or an organized folder. That way, financial responsibilities are still handled responsibly, but they are not carried everywhere you go. Another habit that slowly creates clutter is holding on to expired cards, old identification, or outdated membership cards. Many people never remove these items even after they stop being useful. At first, they seem harmless. They sit quietly behind other cards and rarely get noticed. But each expired card represents something that belongs to the past. It may be an old membership, an outdated job, or a phase of life that has already ended. When several of these objects gather together inside the wallet, they transform it into a small archive of things that no longer serve the present moment. Life is always moving forward. Our habits and environments should reflect that forward movement. Clearing out expired items is a simple action, yet it carries a meaningful message. It tells the mind that you are ready to move forward rather than hold on to things that have already finished their purpose. Perhaps the most important factor of all is the overall condition of the wallet itself. Many people treat their wallets carelessly without realizing the subtle message this sends. Sometimes the wallet is stuffed so full that it barely closes. Crumpled bills are pressed between cards. Old notes, loose coins, random pieces of paper, and forgotten items pile up together. Every time the wallet is opened, the experience feels chaotic. It may only last a few seconds, but that small moment of frustration quietly shapes how a person feels about their finances. Now imagine the opposite situation, a wallet that is clean, organized, and thoughtfully arranged. The cards sit neatly in their slots. Cash is folded properly. Only items that truly belong there remain inside. When you open it, everything is easy to find. There is no confusion, no clutter, no frustration. That small sense of order communicates something powerful to the mind: stability. Creating this kind of order does not require buying an expensive wallet or carrying large amounts of money. The most meaningful change comes from treating the wallet with care and attention. A simple exercise can help help begin this process. Start by emptying your wallet completely. Place everything on a table in front of you. Look at each item carefully. Ask yourself a simple question. Does this item truly belong here right now? If it represents something completed, expired, or unnecessary, set it aside. If it still serves a purpose in your daily life, return it neatly to the wallet. Some people also like to keep a small amount of cash inside at all times, even if it is just a single bill. The reason is not about the monetary value itself. Instead, it symbolizes that the wallet is never completely empty. It reinforces the idea that provision is present rather than absent. Once everything is organized, close the wallet and hold it in your hands for a moment. Notice how it feels. You may be surprised by the difference a small act of organization can create. Instead of representing clutter or stress, the wallet begins to feel like a symbol of readiness and order. This small ritual can become a regular habit. Perhaps once a week, take a moment to check the contents and keep everything clean and simple. These actions may appear too small to matter, but often meaningful change begins with small shifts in awareness. They remind us that stability and abundance are not only about how much money a person earns. They are also about the relationship we have with the resources already in our lives. When we treat even small objects with respect and care, we begin to cultivate a mindset of responsibility and gratitude. The 5 ideas discussed here are not separate rules. They are simply different expressions of one guiding principle. Remove the receipts that belong to the past and make space for the future. Keep memories of loved ones in places meant for remembrance while allowing your wallet to represent life and movement. Handle debts responsibly, but do not carry reminders of them everywhere you go. Clear out expired items so the present moment can take its rightful place. And most importantly, maintain order in the container that holds your resources. When these habits become routine, something interesting begins to happen. The wallet stops feeling like a cluttered pocket of stress. Instead, it becomes a small symbol of organization, awareness, and readiness. Over time, that shift in perspective can influence many other areas of life. A person who values order in small things often begins to bring the same attention and care to larger decisions. If you would like to try this practice, start with a simple step. Take your wallet right now and open it. Look carefully at everything inside. Notice what truly belongs there and what does not. Remove the items that represent completed transactions, expired opportunities, or unnecessary clutter. Arrange the remaining contents neatly. Then close the wallet again. This small action may seem ordinary, but sometimes the beginning of meaningful change does not come from dramatic decisions or complicated strategies. Sometimes it begins with something as simple as clearing space, respecting the objects we use every day, and approaching even the smallest details of life with awareness and intention. And who knows, the quiet shift that begins in something as small as your wallet might one day grow into a completely different relationship with money, order, and the flow of opportunity in your life.